Hi Bay Area, it's Deanna. I am here to show you how to transfer an accepted offer that you have started in another signing platform. Most likely, if you are with us, it was in Dotloop, but really this applies probably to any signing platform out there. So, how to transfer that accepted offer that you wrote in Dotloop and now need to get it into Zipforms so it can go through compliance and Paul can work it and you can get paid, I guess, at the end of the day. So the first thing you're going to want to do is sign in to Zipforms. And you're going to want to start a transaction for it. So my defaults, and yours probably does too unless you changed it, to your transaction page. So I'm going to go right in here and click new. And this is an offer to purchase. So I'm going to keep that same category, even though I'm not writing it. So offer to purchase. And now I'm going to go in and I am going to give it a name. This is a name that's really more so for you. Once Paul starts working on it, he'll make sure that he's got it in the format that he likes with the that property address and then the names of the clients and however he has that kind of laid out. So this is really just for you. So I'm going to just actually we'll use the property address too. So I'm going to get into Paragon here and I'm just going to go copy and paste. We're going to do Wildcat. So I'm just going to go copy and paste this just so I have it. So that's going to be the name of my file. I'm not going to change our location, obviously. And now I'm going to connect this to the MLS. Though I'm not writing the offer in here, it pulls in some information for me. So I am going to do the MLS connect. And all I need is the MLS number. So if I go back to Paragon, I can copy and paste that right from here. Oops, went a little too far. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to include the property photo because I always like it. And then I'm going to click find. Perfect. There it is. I'm going to use that listing. And now I just need to select it's residential. So I need to get the right template added into my transaction. So I'm good here. I'm going to save this. And it's going to open up my transaction for me. So what I am going to do first is I am going to go in and I am going to go grab my documents. It takes a little bit for the documents if you send them right through Dotloop. You can download them and then upload them. That's pretty quickly and pretty self-explanatory. But you can also transfer them right to Dotloops or right from Dotloop, so you don't have to put them on your computer first. So, and how you do that, there's two different areas that you can go look. One of them is right here. It says email to transaction. You can also find this same information right here. So if you click on this, you're going to get this email address. So I'm just going to right click on it and I'm going to copy it. And now I'm going to go into my transaction in Dotloop. I've got it right here. And all I need to do is decide what documents do I need to take over because it's probably not everything. So I'm going to go get my counters, the offer to purchase, addendum A, real estate condition report. I'm going to pull over the GIS map, bill of sale. I need the pre-approval letter. I'm not quite sure what this is, so I'm going to pull this over. And I'm going to pretend they haven't paid the earnest money yet, so I'm going to leave that one there. So here are all the documents that I want to pull over that have been signed by both parties. So I am just going to go share those. So I'm going to go up to my share button. Oh, I think I timed out. Let me log back in. Sorry, I had this sitting up for a while. Let me go back in here to Wildcat. We're going to go back down here. I'm going to click these again. There we go. And now I'm going to go back to my share. And then I'm just going to send them to that email address. So you do need a name there. I wouldn't select anything that you've used before if you have to transfer over a couple transactions, because every transaction email is different. So then I'm going to paste my email in here. You have to give it a role. So I'm just going to say other. You can leave it as view only, and I'm going to attach my PDFs and I'm going to share it. And as soon as I get the thumbs up, great, it has been shared. So that is good. Those are going to go right into my transaction, but it does take a little bit. So we're going to go get a couple of things done while we wait for those documents to arrive. One of them is, because we connected this to the MLS, it's pulled in some information for us. So we just need to make sure in this first property summary section, make sure that the address came over correctly. Because Paragon has this little City of Green Bay up here, it will pull over like that in that top section as well. So a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times there will be the city, village, town, whatever that you need to take out of there. So just make sure that the address is correct. That's kind of the main thing here. And actually, this has a New Franken, City of Green Bay, New Franken. That's kind of weird. I'm going to guess that this is actually New Franken. I'm not sure. So I'm going to pull that in, New Franken. Maybe it's because of the school district, I suppose. So maybe it is City of Green Bay. Maybe I should leave it and not change it, like I know what I'm doing. All right, I'm going to put this back so I don't screw up anything. All right, we're good there. It pulls in, you see it pulls in this information right here. Now, because you did not write the transaction in Zipforms, it doesn't autofill anything that it knows, because it doesn't know anything because you didn't fill it in here. So you're going to have to go put in some information. So you might need to look back at your documents for this, but what you need here for the purchase summary is you need the date that you wrote the offer. So let's say you wrote this offer on the 22nd and that the purchase price was $300,000. And you need the closing date. So we'll just say that this is closing on the 29th. And the one other piece of information that I think that you should put here is your offer acceptance date. And the reason being is that it'll then carry in over to when you're filling out a form. If you need that offer acceptance date for, say, like an amendment, it should be in your offer info. There's a little tab that says offer info. It should be in there for you. So if you put it in here, it should sync into when you need it filling out a form as well. These comments right here, so the purchase summary comments, this is solely for contingencies. You can add earnest money if you want, especially if you've changed it from the default 5 days. So you can add in earnest money or leave. If it's default, you can leave it off. Every offer has earnest money, so it's not anything that we aren't expecting. But not every offer has an inspection or appraisal, financing, well and water, septic. So those are the ones that we really need to know. So that's all we want in this line. So we're going to just say, this, and we just need the number of days. So if your inspection has a 15-day contingency, appraisal 30-day, finance 35 days, and you're having a well and water, if that's 10 days from closing, put that there. That'll adjust, or Paul will be able to adjust all of his timelines based on that. He doesn't need the dates, he just needs to know how many days is the contingency. This section you will not see here, and so your next section is your buy-side commission. So what are you getting paid? And it'll autofill because you've put this purchase summary in up here. If this is a transaction that qualifies for using Paul, you're going to add that information in right here. Okay. If your commission, your GCI, right, that is listed here is under $2,000, you don't have to use Paul. You can coordinate this transaction on your own. Or you can still use Paul and you get his services at a discount. And so if this is under 2,000, you are welcome to put 100 here because that's actually what you will be charged. So that's all we really need here is your commission. It'll figure out your commission dollars and then the TC fee. So the $100 doesn't apply to this one. It's the $150. So I'm going to leave that right there. If you've got anything else in here that's kind of unusual, feel free to use these details. This is just a note section that is just seen on this transaction. So it doesn't go anywhere else, but feel free to write in there if you need to. If this was a referral, whether it was from another agent, Op City, Veterans United, whatever, you're going to put that information in here. So let's just say this was an Op City lead, and I think it's 38%. I'm not quite sure. You're going to just put that in there. You don't need to fill out anything else. If this is, there's only one referral on it, you're good right there. This agent 1 and agent 2, you only need to fill out if you are splitting this transaction with another agent. So let's say that Ben and Nikki decided to share this 50% because, for whatever reason, I'm not even going to get into the because, but let's just say it's 50-50 Ben and Nikki, then, or I guess I'm writing this, so maybe me and Nikki, we are going to put my name in here. Obviously, we know that I'm going to be part of this because it's in my zip forms, but we need to let Lynn know what the split is. So if Nikki and I are sharing this equally, we're going to choose the 50, and then we're going to go down and I'm going to put in Nikki. Oops, I misspelled her name right. And she's also at 50%. So that's all we need there. So if you are, the only reason why you need to fill this out is if you are splitting this transaction with somebody. If you have referred on this transaction to another agent in our office, so let's say, I know Megan gives out a lot of referrals, Carrie gives out a lot of referrals, you would put that here. Unless you're splitting the transaction with them, it would go here. If it's just a referral that lead has been passed off to you, you could put in Megan's, I was going to do your last name, or your maiden name, I shouldn't say last name. So we can add Megan right here, and let's say she's doing this for 25%. So we just add that. So that way, when we are putting this together for Lynn, we can make sure that we are putting Megan in as the referring agent. So that's all the information that goes in here. This is an offer to purchase that you wrote and got accepted. So it has nothing to do with your listing. So we don't need the listing summary or the listing commission side. So you can just minimize those by clicking on those little areas. So we just need things that apply to the buy side and the purchase in general. So we've got that filled out. Let's go back into the parties here. You're going to see that it did. This is a little bit different because it's actually Elsa Frank as the co-lister. So it pulled in Ben. So I would go and change this. And you can easily, or we're going to delete it, actually, is what I'm going to do. I thought you could just edit, but we're going to delete Ben from this transaction. Yep. And we are going to go actually get the listing agent right here, so we can put in Elsa Frank, and then what is it, Team Frank? I should know this, right? We're just going to pretend it's this, teamfrank@gmail.com. I think it's Team Frank Real Estate, and we're going to save that. I don't need any of the other parties on the seller side, but I need to make sure that I've got my buyers in here. Again, I didn't write this in zip forms, otherwise my buyers would be in here already. So we're just going to go add one buyer. Sophie is buying this by herself. Great, and that's really all that we need. We're going to save her. So now I'm in here, Paul's in here, my buyer's in here. On the sell side, I've got the listing agent. Great. Now I need to go in and I need to put my the lender in here. So I'm going to just say that this is Kristen. And I know I should know this, but I do not know Kristen's email. So we're just going to say that it is kristen@gmail.com. I know it's not that, but you can go in here and you can put some information on here if you just want to click that this is a conventional loan. You don't have to. You can fill out as much or as little as you want, but you definitely need to have the name and the email address. So we're going to save this. And then we need to go get title. So this one, we're going to just say that this is Renee. And I don't even know the closing. Is it closing? That Dominion? Something like that. It's probably not the right thing. I don't have it open. I'm not going to spend the time to go get the correct one because this is just a test one. So I'm just putting this in here. So now we've got Renee in here. And then if you want to, I mean, obviously we know that this is Dominion, but if this is somebody that you don't work with very often and you just want to put this company name in here just as a reference, you can. You can save, one thing I should point out, because I'm skipping this because I don't have the correct information. You can save all of these parties to your address book by just clicking here. And then your address book shows up anytime that you're going to send out an email, so you can find all of these people. So I'm going to save this. Hopefully. Yeah, I'm going to. I was just talking to somebody how this always happens when you are training. So now I'm kind of stuck here. Give me 1 minute. There we go. And now I've clicked on so many things. So let's go back to our Wildcat Trail. Let's see where we are on our parties. So we have our buyer in here. We have our listing agent. We have our selling agent. We have our title. We have our buyer's lending company. We've got Paul in here. The only other thing that you could potentially want to add in here that I can see is if there is a sublender, and by a sublender we mean like New Cap or NeighborWorks, things like that, where they're getting some help purchasing this property, and because of that, Paul needs to make sure that they get the documentation that they need. So if, let's say, this was a NeighborWorks, your buyer was getting some help from NeighborWorks, we're going to just call these people a sublender as a role. And then here, if you just put in NeighborWorks or whatever program they're using, that will be very, very helpful. If you have a contact email for that, that would be helpful as well. So if you have those pieces of information, go ahead and put those here for Paul. So then we're going to save, and now we've got NeighborWorks in here too. So we have all of our parties that are part of this transaction. So let's go see if those documents arrived yet. And they have. So this inbox is the documents that you've emailed to yourself. So if I click in here, I can see everything that was sent over. Now you'll see in Dotloop, we must have changed some of these names. So it comes over in the original, whatever the original name was. So let's just go in and see what each of these are. You can click on them and preview. So this is like this is like an update list. So I'm going to change this name so I know what it is. And you do that by just clicking that round circle that's got the downward pointed arrow. And I am going to go edit my details, and I'm going to change this to, seller updates. So you can keep these things really nice and clean so you don't have to constantly open them. We know pre-approval, bill of sale, GIS map, real estate condition report. So let's go see what this is. I should have clicked on it first. This is our addendum A. So let's go change that name. And I've just changed one more. So this is our WB11, offer to purchase. So name this however you want. Maybe you just want it to say OTP. and you're good. And we'll leave it at that. So you now have an idea. This one right here is going to be kind of a little breadcrumb, cookie crumb of your email. So you don't need to transfer that one over. So these are our fully signed, all the pieces of the puzzle to our accepted offer. So I'm just going to click all of these. Oops. If you don't click right in the right spot, it will open up, but you want to click right in these boxes here so you can do it all at once. And I'm going to put these into this fully executed compliance ready document or file folder. So I have just got them all clicked, and now I am going to go hit move up here in the smaller kind of toolbar. This toolbar, I will say, you have to have something clicked to be able to see the majority of it. So until you click a document, I think it only goes to about here. So if you're looking at this like, how do I move this, or how do I send it, or how do I save it, or whatever, you have to just click a document, and then all of a sudden this toolbar expands out to all the different tools that you have. So I'm going to click move. We're going to go into the fully executed compliance ready documents. I'm going to say move here. So now the only thing in my inbox is that one little kind of cookie crumb of the email letting me know that it was sent. And the rest of them are right here, all ready to go. So now these are placeholders. You have a couple different options here. You can get rid of them. You can leave them just like this. Paul will probably clean it up anyway. But if you wanted to get rid of these placeholders, and this goes to any one of these files, you can just click on the corners and hit delete up here. If there's, say, just one that you want to get rid of, just click here and then hit delete, and it'll get rid of that one. It'll verify that you actually want it to. But now we've got all of our documents here for Paul that are fully signed and accepted. Now the couple things that we don't have, because this is actually not an offer that Tom or Elsa wrote, this is just an offer that came in on their property. So we of course are missing the notice, the affiliate business disclosure, and there's no buyer agency or disclosure to customer in here. So you would have those pieces as well. We just don't right now. So we're good to go there. So we've got all the documents. We've already, while we were waiting for those documents to come in, put in all of our parties, and we already updated our summary. So we are ready to send this off to Paul. But before I do, I'm just going to go over the key points of the summary one last time. In the property summary, the top box, you want to verify that the address is correct. In the purchase summary box, you want to have the offer date, the purchase price, and the closing date. We cannot send these through to Lynn's back office system without those pieces of information being there. So they are very, very important. This offer acceptance date is an added little piece to put in there that will save you some time when you are doing documents like amendments and things on this offer going forward. And this comment box in the purchase summary box, solely for your contingencies. That's all. That's all we want to see in there. If that box is blank, Paul is going to assume that there are no contingencies other than earnest money to worry about. You won't have this section. Buy side, we just need to make sure we have your commission, the TC fee, and then if you have any referrals or if you're splitting this with another agent. That's all the information that needs to go there. And then the last two sections are if this was your listing, which it is not. It is your buyer, your offer to purchase, your sell side, basically. So we've got everything there to go. Now we just need to go notify Paul that we have an accepted offer. So we're going to go into notes. We're going to click new. And this is like that little breadcrumb again, just so we remember we notified Paul. So I like to just put a little something in there so I know what I did. You could put notified Paul of accepted offer or whatever you want. Just don't get too wordy in there because whatever you put here really doesn't go anywhere. So now we're going to save and notify. and we're going to go in here and we're going to send this to Paul. You have a couple different options. I always send it through Gmail. You can send it right through the system, but I like having it through Gmail, so it shows with a Gmail address, number one. It's something just to kind of get used to and create kind of that system, just because it is really nice when you're sending out from the system to your clients or maybe to the listing agent to do it through Gmail. And I just like to kind of have that consistent look and feel all the time. And I think the replies come back to you easier as well if you're using your own Gmail account. It will always autofill your email here. So you can keep it so that you get a copy of it, or you can delete it. And Paul will always be in the address book right here. He's going to show up right away because it defaults to the transaction party and he's in there. So you can just click it. But you have all these different things right here. So if you've saved somebody as a contact, they're going to be here. So let's go add Paul. Done. I'm actually going to take him out because I don't want him to get an email from this transaction, so he's confused. So I'm actually going to remove him. But you can CC anyone you want. And then we're just going to say, just like we would in Dotloop when we're sending that note. Whoops. There we go. Accepted offer on Wildcat. Okay. This is going to come, I can't remember the house number. You can add the house number in there too. This is going to come to Paul via email, but it's going to be attached right to this transaction. So if you forget to put the house number in, don't fret. He still will have access to that because it'll come in kind of the beef of the email. So here is where we need a couple things from you. One for sure, and that is what is happening with the earnest money. So we need to know where is the earnest money being held, and have you already coordinated this? Have you already coordinated the earnest money with your buyers? Have you sent them a trust fund link? Have you let them know where to mail it? It's just nice for Paul then when he sends out that initial email, he can reference the fact that, hey, it sounds like Deanna already sent you the link, and I do see a receipt coming through, so it looks like your earnest money is good. So it's a nice way for him to know what's going on without him having to do a lot of digging. So we can just say, earnest money held by, I don't know, Coldwell Banker. Already sent, oops. Link. Okay. So that's letting him know it's who it's being held by and the fact that we've already sent a link to our buyer to pay it. So just make sure if you haven't done anything, just say, earnest money is being held by Coldwell Banker. I have not addressed earnest money with my buyer yet. Great. So then Paul will take it from there. And then the next thing is, so this is a must in your note, just so Paul knows where you are with the earnest money. And the optional thing is do you have anything unusual going on with this transaction? Is this somebody who needs their hand held a little bit? Is this somebody who doesn't speak English? Is this somebody who is straight and short and to the point and, don't get offended if you don't hear back from them, whatever. Anything that has to do with your buyers or this transaction, you can put it here if you want. It's a nice kind of heads up for Paul so he knows what's going on. And if you didn't include yourself up here, you can just click this copy me, so you can see it in your email as well. And then you can also do a little sticky note, which I think saves it right to the transaction for you. So then you can hit send and that'll go off. Oh, you have to select your email, your Gmail. I don't know if that pops up if you only have one Gmail account, but if not, it pops up on all of them. So, or you have to select from all of them. Sorry, said that wrong. That is it. So again, we just transfer over using that email to transaction email address. We put in our parties and we made sure we had all the information filled out in the summary and sent a note to Paul. So